right, so for this video, we are doing a tier list. We are going to grade all of the local suburbs here in the upstate. And if this is helpful to you, make sure you subscribe to the channel because we do stuff like this all the time, and reach out to the team because we do real estate. So the first one is Greer. I would rate that as a B+. One, because it's kind of a weird area, to be honest. You could be all the way up almost in the mountains next to Lake Robinson, but then it's this long and skinny place that goes all the way down almost into Spartanburg and hits areas of like Simpsonville and Five Forks. So it's a great area. I think it's got a lot of cool things, and it's close to a lot of areas as well. Specifically, if you work at like BMW or Michelin, it's right there close to everything. Next, the other side of town is Easley. And this area, I think, a little touch and go. I give it like a C. I think it has a lot of things to get better at, but at the same time, I think it has some really cool pocket areas that if you know what is there, it's super cool. Piedmont. So with Piedmont, I'd say is like a B. Reason, it's right there next to the interstate, but you also can get out further away from things. Now, there's not a lot of the big box shopping and so on. You're still gonna have to drive 15 to 20 minutes to get to what you want. Probably going down into Easley for your shopping or things to do, or you're having to drive into downtown Greenville, which honestly isn't too far away. All right, next is Liberty. Now, Liberty is that area that is like further out from Easley. You're headed into like Anderson County almost. Liberty, let's give it a C as well, just because you're far away from everything. You're on your way to Clemson almost. It's a small town. There's not a lot of stuff out there. And I know people that love Liberty. So it's all your own personal choice. But for me, I wouldn't live that far out from things. It's a great community though. Next is Pelzer, South Carolina. Guys, got like a D-. It's the middle of nowhere. And there's even places like it's Pelzer and then you have West Pelzer. Why do you have a West Pelzer? It doesn't make sense. But you know me, I've got to put a positive spin on everything here. They do have a really great neighborhood out there that I love that is surrounded by horses. So you get a D- Pelzer because there's nothing to do. Now, a little bit more positive here. Let's talk about Five Forks. Five Forks is right outside of Simpsonville, and you can't actually have a Five Forks address. So when you go to search addresses that say Five Forks, they don't exist. Five Forks is gonna get a B+. It's up and coming as well. It has a lot of building, but it has a lot of traffic. I don't know, some pros and cons there. But if you live in Five Forks, you basically live in Simpsonville. So we're gonna downgrade Five Forks actually to a C. I think Simpsonville is so like hyped up, and then you get out here, Simpsonville, you get a C. It's just not what I'm looking for. At the same time, you get great housing opportunities, but you're further from everything. And I've never sat in traffic longer than whenever I go to Simpsonville. It has a lot of cool things. It has the amphitheater. It has more of your big box shopping, lots of new development. And I think the roads might need some help. Duncan, South Carolina, you're a A. You're far enough away from things, but close enough to like Spartanburg and Greenville that you can hop between either one. You're also closer to the mountains, so that y'all that are looking for mountain views, go look up there. It's a small town feel, and I just don't think it gets talked about as much. So look the northern side of Greenville, Spartanburg County. Here's one we don't talk about a lot on the channel is Pickens. Pickens, I would say, now I gotta be careful here because one of my favorite people grew up in Pickens. Let's give Pickens a B+. Pickens is out far enough from everything that you get the small town vibe. You have a cute downtown. It's important to know that you can get more land out there. You can get housing out there for a better price than maybe some other areas, though I will tell you a quick story about Pickens. It is the one place that when I was driving down the road, there was a large longhorn cow that was in the middle of the road and as big as my Dodge Durango that I was driving at the time. So just be prepared that you might see the cows in the middle of the road, but I think it's a pretty cool place. Taylor, South Carolina gets an A, maybe even an S. Because it is not a huge incorporated area. You're close enough to downtown Greenville by only about 15 minutes away. There's also a lot of main transportation that runs through Taylor's. Also, what they're doing is they've done a ton to revitalize the mills that are in Taylor's. So you can have a Taylor's address. I think it's a really cool place. Go look into it. Next is Landrum and Campobello. We're just gonna mush those two together because they're small, they're way north in Greenville County, and I think they get looked over a lot. Now, if you're not opposed to being further out, it's not bad. I would give it a B minus, all right, almost a C plus, just because it's gonna take you 45 minutes to get into town, maybe even closer to 20 to 30 minutes just to get into places like Travelers Rest, Greer, but you're in the mountains. So if that's what you want, that's a perfect place to be. You're not gonna pay as much for housing and you're closer to horse country up there. So you're gonna see a lot more people with farms and stables and places for horses. Fountain Inn, we're sitting in Fountain Inn. I give this place an A because it's up and coming, cute Main Street, lots of housing opportunities out here, has one of the newest high schools in the upstate, has a lot of industry coming to the area. You're right here next to the interstate. You can get everywhere super fast. I think it's overlooked a lot. Next, Belton and Williamston. Y'all, you get a C. Because, again, I like being closer to things, and Belton and Williamston, you're just further out. So you gotta decide, do you wanna go to Anderson or Greenville? Now, the nice thing about Belton and Williamston is you usually get a house that has more property. You get lower taxes, smaller communities. So if you don't mind living a little bit farther out from something, I think Belton and Williamston would be a great place. Another area is Powdersville. It's situated right there between Easley and Piedmont. You get an A because the school districts. And you might be watching this and going, school districts don't matter to me, I don't have kids. Well, here's why it should matter. Your property values are going to stay higher. If you want to rent out your house ever, you're always going to have a good rental pool because people want to live in a good school district. And then at the same time too, that draws good people to your area. So Powdersville, you get an A. Mauldin, you get a B because you are trying hard. Now, Mauldin has Bridgeway Station coming and has a lot of development coming to the area. And I think it has more walkability than most places, just in like the neighborhoods specifically. So neighborhoods were built with sidewalks and they have the large established trees. And it's not just this massive place that, you know, has a lot of industry coming to it. However, Bridgeway Station just brought a ton to the area. So I'm really interested to see how that affects the area over the years to come. So take a look at Mauldin. Inman and Lyman. Inman and Lyman areas, I think, are often overlooked because they're small and they're to the north of Greenville. They're basically Spartanburg County. I think that they are fantastic areas. They do get, however, a C because these areas, there's so much more that could be done with them. I'm very interested to see what comes soon with these areas. However, there seems to be some buildings, some growth, but not near as much as other areas. I could be wrong. Leave me a comment. So Woodruff, South Carolina, I think gets overlooked a lot because it is further out. Woodruff, you get a D because nobody knows you're out there. And then once we do know you're out there, we realize it takes a long time to get places. Now, I think this is an area that often goes overlooked, so I would love to rate it higher someday. But if you want to get to more of your big box shopping, to the airport, to your healthcare services, you're going to end up driving a hot minute. But there are lots of new communities that are being built out here in the area. It is southern Spartanburg County, so just pay attention to stuff like that. Finally, of course, because I'm completely biased, is Travelers Rest. You get an S because you are the up-and-coming area, and I'm biased because I live there. TR has so much to offer in its small town, but I will say this, and this is the only thing that I would actually downgrade it off of its S, is cost of living is just getting more expensive in the area because it's so hot, it's so popular, so many people want to be right there because you can see the mountains and it's easy to drive there. It's just getting more expensive. So if you want to live in TR for the average price point of Greenville, it's going to be very hard. You need at least $400,000 to $500,000 to even start looking at houses in Travelers Rest. Tell me what you love about each area, what you would grade it. And if this was helpful, reach out, let us know what area you are looking in, because me and the team would love to help you live there or sell your house in order to buy a new one. And that's why we're here. So if you like this video, you may want to go check out our underrated, overrated videos, and I'll catch you next time.